Hello. Okay, so we have a new guest here. Can you introduce yourself?
Of course. My name is Cecilia, but I go by Angie as far as my time in Japan goes. I am originally from Brazil, which I'm currently living here, but it's a longer answer. I've lived everywhere. I am currently working as an English teacher and a translator, interpreter. So a lot of home office, some local English schools. But I did in Japan, I studied psychology in the University of Tsukuba through the MEXT Scholarship. I then went on to move to the United States where I studied theology. And it's a much longer story because I was stuck there during COVID. So it's an interesting story that it's
Wow. Okay,
another time.
that's interesting.
Mm.
Okay, so how was it? Like, why you decide to go to Japan? What's your story? What's your relation with Japan?
I probably have one of the most unique stories as far as MEXT scholarship students go. Japan is home for me. It's home for me because I grew up there as my parents worked there as missionaries and I moved there when I was 5. So I was there from 5 to 17, so 12 years. And I went to normal Japanese public school and my high school was international school, but I basically inside I feel more Japanese than Brazilian.
Wow.
Um, and for me, it's just home. And when we came back to Brazil when I was 17, I didn't fit in very well because even though I always spoke the language, my parents made sure of that. And while in Japan, I also lived with a Brazilian community as well. I didn't really feel like home, and I went in directly for college here, and it just was not clicking for me. Like my sister went into high school, and for her, like she still, for her it worked. For me, it just didn't. And I tried many different things, different jobs, different colleges, and everything. And then one day we kept in touch with Japanese community where, well, news about Japanese stuff in the city that I was. And one day we found out about the scholarship, and my mom said, you know what? You should try because college here was not working. I did not pass. Fun fact, I did not get the first try because my math and physics is absolutely horrible. So the exam I didn't do very well. But then the second try, which at the time would have been my last opportunity, since then they raised the age limit for undergrad.
Okay. How old was the limit?
At the time, I think the limit you had to be 21.
Okay. Yeah. Now
Maximum
it's
21. So this
25.
is 2014. Yeah, they raised.
Yeah.
This was 2014, so a long time ago.
Okay.
I just here we have a lot of dogs that bark,
Yeah.
so yeah. There also might be a delivery coming in, but anyway, the yeah. So I was 21. I was going to turn 22 that year, but I was still 21 the day I got into the plane. So it was my last chance. That's how I the one of the consulates is in my hometown of Curitiba. So that's like I was close to information at the time, so interview and everything. So it was a little easier. That's how I ended up in back in Japan, back
Mhm.
home for me.
Nice. Okay. So for you, what was the hardest part of the process? Like you were applying to the scholarship, you failed the first time, you tried your second time, you didn't give up, and then you try your second time. What was like the hardest part? Which I think I'll say like the exams, right? Because it's
Yeah,
exams. So I guess the answer is the exams, and I think
my
it's
whole life, my whole life I was never good at tests. Like tests
uh,
is not my thing. I'm very good academically, but tests not so much. So personally, I would say that was the hardest part. Um, Physics, math, those things. But a close second was finding information, like interpreting. the information. Like
Yeah,
you could
sure.
go to the consulate, they would and the website, and they would, give you all the information. But I think all of us who have gone through this process knows that the Japanese are not very good at interpreting bureaucratic things for foreigners.
Mm.
So it was a lot of like collecting the information and being
Yes,
like, which ones do I have to, what paper?
100% sure.
Oh goodness, that was stressful.
Yes, yes, yes.
I did have an edge where my mother was very knowledgeable in these things because she had already, gone through the process of getting a visa for us to go. So she understood how to navigate a little better. But there were two other people coming from the same city with me, and they told me later, it's like we almost gave up because it was impossible to understand all of the, even though the information is readily available on the website or at the consulate physically. That was a close second to the exams for me.
Yeah, personally, I feel also like the lack information also extends to like what I have to study. Maybe you have like some past exams, you have like documents, but you're not really sure how to do it. It's like,
Mhm.
and you need to follow. I mean, they're Japanese. You can't like do whatever you want and they say, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not like you need to be really right about what you're writing, what you are studying.
Like
I mean, you have
exactly right. It's like one right answer. You have to figure that out.
yeah. So yeah, the lack of information, I think, from almost everyone is like the worst part of this. I always remember when I heard from my Korean friend when I was in Japan. I was like, there was a lot of Koreans in my year, like a lot of Koreans, not a lot, but like most of like Brazilians and Koreans. I think there were like a lot of
Yeah, that's
Brazilians
like
and
the
Koreans.
highest number of.
Yeah. I remember one of them told me like we have in Korea we have an academy only for this. Like they have all the professors and like they prepare them to this scholarship. And I was like, okay, that's quite unfair advantage for you, but it's fine.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah. So that, I mean, yeah, information equal power. Like if you have the right information, yeah, have a really big advantage there. So the second time you prepare better and you apply for the same one because you saying the first time you had physics. You had physics exam in the
To
second.
this day, I don't understand what happened. The first time I applied for what in Brazil we call scenic arts, which is basically like performing arts with history of art, because that's what I was studying at the time. So like movies, plays, history of art, interpretation of art, those things, like artistic. I'm that kind of person. And for that, I had to do 5. It was the Japanese, English, no, 6 exam. I don't remember. It was a while ago. This was 2012. So this was 14 years ago. My goodness. There was English, Japanese, physics, math, and one more that I cannot remember. I remember there was 5 exams. But then the second year, I tried for psychology.
Chemistry? Yep. Chemistry?
Chemistry. Yes, chemistry. Oh, I'm very bad at it. And the second year, I tried for psychology, and I only needed to do 3.
Japanese, because one is natural science, the other one is humanities. Yeah. Maybe. But the first one, I mean, the first one is not what we say is artistic, like
art, like 100% humanities.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but why? Yeah, maybe the system changed. Well, good for you. I mean, it makes sense. Why you need to be like really good in chemistry for artistics? It doesn't make sense to me, but yeah, why not? Okay, so good for you. And then you apply without this physics and chemistry, and I think also like maybe the math level also become easier, right? Like
I did work hard on the math for the next year. Like maybe not like an everyday thing, but I did study math a little bit, and I think maybe it was a little lower level. I don't, of course, I don't know. Maybe it was the same level and I studied more. Don't know. Yeah. I just know that
might be. So the second time you passed like the exams, you got like this call from the embassy saying, okay, you come to the interview, right? You have this interview. Mm-hmm. How was the interview?
It was, I remember feeling it was quicker than I thought. And they initially, I think the rule is still the same, where for exact sciences you don't need to speak Japanese, and then but for humanities you need to speak some already, like you need to know a little bit. I think that's the same rule today. But
Yeah,
so they tried to speak to me in Portuguese or English, one of the two at the time, but I already began with Japanese first because I wanted to impress.
yeah,
And I guess it worked because they were shocked. And I remember them asking like more. They did ask all the official questions, of course, like why are you going, like what is your purpose, and those things. But they also like asked about my childhood there, because I guess I was a different person, and I grew up in Hiroshima, where the bomb dropped, which is like always in like brings a lot of questions. So I remember chatting quite a bit, and it was very quick. But I was so nervous. I was really, really nervous because last possible chance. Like after this, I couldn't get the scholarship.
hmm
So I remember being very nervous, and then like afterwards, I think I went somewhere to get like a coffee or something, and I was just like this for a while. It was quite an
it
experience.
was like how was like the setting? It was like the typical Japanese interview when there's like a really big table, like you have all the guys with suits like looking at you. Or was more like a
Yeah,
chill.
yeah. Like there's the table. There are like three people, I think, on the
Three
other
people in
side.
front.
This was
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this was at the consulate in Brazil. Like I didn't have to go to the embassy in São Paulo because Curitiba, consulate at Curitiba, sorry, which is the capital of Paraná,
Yeah.
the state of Paraná in the south. Um, it was at a consulate there. And it's a very, very small space at like a seventh floor of a building. So it's a very, very, very cramped space. So the room wasn't big, but there was, I entered and there was a big table, three people in suits and everything, all the papers, and there was like a glass of water for me. And was I've done some job interviews over in Japan like that, so it was very official.
Personally, when was my interview? I also applied 2 times. I failed the first time as you, and the second time I got it. But the first time I also went to the interview. So the first time the interview was more like that, but the second time was like chilling. Was like some sofas and like
Nice.
no Japanese. But like it was only like the embassy. Like this girl is always helping you with the scholarship stuff. It was her and maybe one more Japanese. But there was not like this. So many like Japanese guys wearing suits and stuff. It was like more like Argentinian teachers, professors from university, and they were asking you like, okay, why you want to study this in Japan, and these kind of questions. Like you need to justify a bit about that, and then of course about your life and your motivations also, besides the academic reasons. So I think it depends a lot. So you can't really say what you need to. I think the important thing about the scholarship, I want to hear your advice, of course. For me, it's more about being really sure what you want and have some kind of um, reason that is aligned, of course, with what MEXT really wants. And if you have
Yeah,
that really clear, most cases you are okay, right?
I would agree with that. I think I got a feeling that it's not like they wanted. Of course, it's my interpretation. Like it's not like they wanted necessarily like some specific answer that would please them. It felt more like they wanted a clear answer. Like
Mm.
they want to be sure I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And for me, one of the biggest parts of the answer is I told them like this is my home. I want to go home. Like that's I mentioned that. I wasn't gonna say that, but they asked me about like it says here in application that you already live there and everything. And I said I just want to go home, and I want to continue my education. I want to get an education where I know, in a place where I know what I'm doing, because I cannot navigate Brazilian culture at the time. I struggled a lot. And I told them, I know I can do really well in Japan because I know how to navigate the culture. And I remember like that was like my most clear answer. Like I didn't hesitate because I already knew this. Um, and so I think it was more like that. Like they want to make sure you know. Like, make sure you have a clear answer. Don't be like, oh, I kind of always liked Japan and I think it's kind of cool. Like, that's not gonna get you. They don't want confused people because it's a
Mm.
lot of money. Like,
Yeah.
one time I sat down and calculated like the entire 5 years how much they are, because you don't know like the exact amount because it depends on
Yeah.
the college you go to and the plane ticket.
Yeah.
But
The
I calculated,
tuition.
and I remember like my stomach just like, wow, this is a lot of money.
Mm.
And I never looked at those numbers again because it just gave me anxiety of how much money it was. So it's a lot of money. They want to know they're giving it to somebody who knows what they're doing. And I would feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So then you passed the interview and you had to wait maybe some months until, I don't know, maybe until you got like the
Mhm.
final these notifications that you got the scholarship, right? I don't know, they called you, sent you an email, I don't know, but you got this like some months later. For me, it was like 6 months. I had to wait. I don't know. It was
My I applied in May, did the exam in June or July, did the interview not too long ago, so I'm thinking August or September, because I remember it being very cold. My city, Curitiba, is very, very cold in the winter. Um, and then summer came, Christmas came, New Year's came and went, and still nothing. And I was
Hmm.
starting to get really nervous
Oh, okay, same.
because,
Nice.
uh,
We
yeah,
have the same.
that Christmas was just
Same
I just
here.
remember being anxious, right? And it was interesting because my family, we went to the beach. We're not much beach people, but that winter, like, we got a good deal that summer. So we spent Christmas at Florianopolis, which is in the state of Santa Catarina. It's very good beaches there. And I just remember sitting there looking at the ocean going, what if I didn't get it? What if I didn't get
Mm.
it? Like, that's all I could think about. But
Mm.
I got the answer mid-January, mid to end January. Yeah.
Okay, so
So
6, 7 months waiting. Just
yeah.
just waiting, just waiting. Like, I don't know what's
Yeah,
happening with my future.
yeah.
uh,
Because then you have to hold your plans, right? And especially in Brazil, that was a little hard because academic. I was still attending like a private small college studying psychology because I was like, I can't just do nothing. So I
yeah,
was working part
yeah.
time and studying. And academic year starts in March here, like end of February, March here. So I was like, which way am I going? Do I continue the college here? Do I prepare to move countries? Like, it was very nerve-wracking.
But you got it. So when you got it, it was like
I
celebration.
cried.
And
I
like
cried.
they call you. They say I'm curious about this. Like they call you. They send you an email.
I don't remember. I think it was an email. I
Okay.
think.
In my case, it was an email. Yeah.
Yeah. Although I remember talking to somebody on the phone. I don't remember if that's what that is because they called me to tell me, or because we were talking about the dinner with the ambassador, because you have to have a dinner with the Japanese ambassador in your country. Apparently, here at least, I don't know every country, but there was a
Oh
dinner.
really? No, no, not
No,
no, no. I never heard
I
about
don't know.
that.
I don't know if it was the ambassador at the time or the consulate. I just know
Hmm.
that we went to a mansion and had dinner, official like dinner with them. I don't know if it was because of that or because they called me to tell me.
Okay, we have.
But that's
I know like almost everyone they do like some kind of meeting with all the new MEXT scholars,
mm-hmm.
and normally the ambassador is there, but it's like yeah, I don't know. Your case was only you, was like all of them.
No, no, there was a group. There was a group.
Ah, okay, man. And then it's, I thought it was like only
Yeah.
you. Okay.
No,
Uh,
I couldn't handle that kind of pressure.
yeah.
My goodness. Imagine having to just sit you and an ambassador like
Yeah.
I would be too nervous to just eat.
So then you went to Japan, okay, and you started studying. You have this one first year of preparation before, or you just go directly into, because your Japanese, I guess, like was almost native level. Your Japanese is almost like
Yeah, it's native level, but you don't get exempt from that. I did have the 1 year. Where did you go for yours?
Osaka,
You went
Osaka.
to CJLC.
Okay, in
Or
Mino.
yeah, you know,
Oh, okay,
no
good.
longer you know.
I'm
Oh,
the real senpai.
it was. You stayed in Ichigokan, Nigokan, where
Ichigoku.
Ichigokan.
Ichigokan
I
was
stayed
what?
in
Wait. The oldest one was the Ichigokan or the Nikokan? The one with the table, the ping pong table. You go in
Ichigokan.
and
That's
Ichigokan, right there. Yeah, Ichigokan.
the little. So there's the CJLC. Then you go right next to it. There's the Nigokan, and then you go a little bit higher up the hill where there's the seats outside.
Yeah,
Like yeah, that's Ichigokan. Yeah,
Ichigokan, right there.
that was hangout place. I was
Yeah, sure.
way up the hill with the Japanese. They put a few of us. I think there were a lot of people, and we didn't fit in Ichigokan, Nigokan.
Oh, you went to
And
the Japanese dormitories.
yeah,
Uh, yeah.
Ni- I forgot the name, but anyway, it was like the
Yeah.
last one up there.
Yeah, there was a lot of Japanese dormitories there.
Mhm. So I miss that. It's no longer there.
Yeah, it was really good. So you were had this year of preparations, and can you say something about that, like the experience, maybe the classes, how was like the making friends? I think is one of the most important parts of the experience. It's like the friends, the people you meet during the
Mhm.
process. And whatever you want, maybe the clubs, the life in Japan, whatever you want to say, just tell us.
I think I agree with you. The making the friends is one of the most important parts. Like friendship carries you there. It can make it or break it for you.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think everybody has like this group chat with like just the three of you friends in life, which is like a random name and you just like tell each other everything. My group chat is with two people that I met there.
Nice.
Uh, and honestly, they're both freaking smart people, and they're all both went to sciences, computer science, and the other one I don't remember. And they went on to do masters, and they're doing like PhDs in Europe, so they're like high level people. One from Thailand, one from India, and like Thailand, she was like the first person who talked to me, and like friendship. That's it, and we've been friends ever since. Um, it makes it or break it for you. Like there were five of us Brazilians there that year in Osaka, and I think only two of us, two people left. One person left before the end of the year was over. The other one did go to college, but quit the first year. Like they weren't able to handle a lot of the pressure of things. Can, can you just give me 1 second?
So you had this first year of preparation, you make these really good friends, so pretty good, and then you start like the university, start going to university, and like you say, your friends, maybe some of them can handle some of the what was like the pressure, maybe they have just like stuff. But what was your case? Like, how was your case? Like, you felt like you were like really navigating the system, as you say, like it was like flowing, or was you had some problems there?
I think for me, because I didn't have a lot back here in Brazil that I missed, besides my family, like I miss my family a lot. It was the first time living away from them. That part was hard, but I think I even feel a little bit weird about saying this because I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying, oh, people can't handle the pressure. Like there was a lot of pressure, but for me, it was just good. Like I moved. We finished the first year, which for me was there were I wasn't the only one fluent in Japanese. There were seven others, and they put us in one class, which it was 100% everything in Japanese, and we did like Japanese school curriculums. So there was like kanbun, which is like the Chinese poetry in Japanese reading. It's a very hard thing, which I was sitting there being like, why are we doing this? But it was fun. Like economics and history, and so the presuming that you already know Japanese, they gave us Japanese school curriculum. I did kind of succumb to a little bit of the pressure during the time of choosing the colleges. So they come like that whole I don't know if it was the same when you went. The like a bunch of colleges come and they have like this fair of like you meet a bunch of representatives from different kokuritsu colleges, and I had like a pamphlet, like stack of pamphlets size, and I was like, I don't know how to choose these things, like no idea. And then you have to like your exams need to be good for you to be able to qualify to some of them. But the transition itself, it was good for me. Like we graduated, like we finished beginning of March. You have like a month or so. This friend from Thailand, she went to Tokyo, and I went to Tsukuba, so it's Ibaraki, for a state very close over there, but it's in Kanto, the other area.
Mhm.
She went ahead, she got an apartment for herself, and I stayed with her for like a week or two, because my dorm wasn't ready yet. Um, and we just like we partied, we just explored Tokyo, and then I don't know how I did it, but like giant suitcases and everything, just like dragging through from Osaka to Tokyo Tokyo um to Tsukuba, and it was it was good. I just for me it was just like life was beginning.
Mm.
I They did put me in a dorm because the Tsukuba University has like everybody goes into a dorm, but it was so small. It was like on the fourth floor of a building, one two showers for like four floors worth of rooms, and I just was like, nah, this is not gonna work. So I got an apartment immediately, and I stayed there for 4 years throughout the years that I was in Tsukuba. So for me, life was just they were the best 4 years of my life. I can
Wow,
say that without doubt. Without a doubt.
that's great. Okay, awesome. So how about the academics? Like you're in the Japan, like you are going like I mean your background is a bit different, so you knew better like the Japanese system. You went to primary school, high school in Japan, so in some extent maybe you were it was a bit different, I guess, from most cases. But anyway, like
Hmm.
how was it for you to go to a Japanese university, like the classes, like the teachers, the
I struggled with the exams because, like I always had, there was this one class, Psychology 101, Shinigaku Ichi, like literally Psychology 101. And there were the whole grade was based on one final exam. There was no attendance, there was no homework, no paper to turn in, uh, and there were five different teachers because they were given an introduction to the five areas of psychology as Tsukuba University sees it. And the final exam is in Christmas, which is one thing that no matter how Japanese I am inside, I will never accept. Christmas, you're supposed to rest, but it was like a few days before Christmas or around that time. And I failed that class
mm.
twice. So I had to retake the next year, and then I had to retake again my third year. And I had to beg for mercy for the dean. I showed like all of my notes, all that I studied. I'm like, if you don't help me like with this, I will not graduate because then I
What
would
was
have
the
to.
reason for you?
Hmm?
Why? Like it was really hard, or was more about like
It was really hard. It's like one semester worth of information, and all your grade depends on one exam. And
okay.
you get like 70 or 80%. And I'm usually like at the time I used to get a little cold and like a little sick around end of the year. It was just not optimal. So in other classes that we had psychometrics, which is like psychological statistics. I'm not good with any kind of they had math and all those stuff in there. So exam wise, I struggle a lot every semester, but the rest, I I was good. I when I went to junior high in Japan, the chugako, what they call, I was bullied. It was public. It's like exactly how people see in animes and doramas and all those. It's exactly like that. Worse. So I was bullied throughout the 3 years. It kind of prepared me for how.
I'm sorry, I'm really interested in this, but I don't know. Maybe it's traumatic. You don't want to say it, don't say it. But if I can
No
ask you, I
problem.
want to know about this because this is really interesting. So what kind of bully?
Um,
What happened?
I'm over it, so I'm totally fine
Okay,
talking
as
about
you
it.
want.
Like
Yeah.
the things that you see in doramas and animes, they do it. Like they used to hide my desk. They ripped my books. They flipped my lunch inside my bag.
Who was doing
In the dead
this?
of winter, the
Like the,
Japanese kids,
but
the
like
Japanese kids,
the boys, like the girls. It was like everyone. What
all of
the?
them. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, and I can't really say why. They don't have a reason. Like there were other foreigners, they weren't bullied. There were other Brazilians who look exactly like me, and they weren't bullied. In the winter, like I hated doing PE, physical education, with them because like if there was like dodgeball, they would always throw the ball at me.
Not all of them,
Uh,
right? It was like a small group of like some of them, like, or it was.
I had friends; they weren't part of it. A pretty good group of friends. The There were a few that were more prominent doing that. I think I could never pinpoint exactly who was doing it, but the rest they just laughed. They're
Yeah, so in some extent they are like being part of the rights in a sense.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
also the teachers kind of some of the teachers joined in a little bit. I want to make it clear that like no teacher ever like bullied per se,
Mm,
like they're very strict in that sense. But like I would
mm.
ask for help, didn't know what to do and everything, and they were too busy kind of trying to get me to conform to their
They
ways.
were
Like
not
I've always
helping to like they were not helping.
nah,
They were that's yeah.
yeah, no, I
This
understand. It's I think teenagers don't have a reason for why they are mean to each other. They bullied others as well. They just pick the first thing that's different. They just and then they don't really have a reason. It's not like they hated me. I'm sure they had no reason to hate me. There was no I didn't do anything. I think what spurred it on is because I wasn't quiet. Like
quiet.
I would yell back or do something. I always fought back. Uh, but I don't know. In Chugaku, like the kids that from 12 to 13 to 14, like you're becoming a teenager. That's like, all the hormones and everything. I'm not saying it excuses the behavior, but unfortunately, it's the most normal time for bullying to happen. They're just irritated all the time, and they have a lot of energy left. They don't understand what life is happening, and I'm just walking around there just being me. I was blessed that my parents always like encouraged me to, be myself and never I was always very confident. And they didn't really like that, which wasn't my problem, but so I guess like if I would see any of them today, I would like I have no ill feelings toward any of them. Um, I doubt most of them even remember doing anything. The physical bullying part, it was just the first year because my dad went into school when I
Mm.
told them he forced a meeting out of the principal and had yeah they called made them my parents my dad made them call the three main guys, two or three main guys that were like the most annoying, um and made them apologize in front of my dad. And so after that, I don't remember much of like physical bullying, like those things, like the table, they pushed me down the stairs before and everything. Those things kind of ended. But the rest of the time, like there was just they would say things and just laugh. Like that was their main way, laugh all the time. They laughed at me all the time.
nothing to say here, but yeah.
They
Just
had
really like an anime. It's like a real anime. Okay,
yeah,
you had the full experience. Had the full
yeah.
experience.
So with that experience, kind of like made me like it prepared me for when the Japanese did not know in college, did not know how to deal with international people. Like it's not their fault. They just don't have the experience. Like
But you say
I
there
just
were
knew
like
how
other Brazilians there, like more international people in your school, right?
in my junior high in Chugako.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's always almost everywhere you go in Japan there were at least Brazilians somewhere. In my
Mm,
school there were three others.
mm.
Yeah, and some Filipinos. There's always Filipinos as well.
Filipinos.
Yeah. That's why kind of life for me took a weird turn. Um, I tried, I applied for master's degree. I knew I wanted to go for a master's degree in the same college. Um, and I did get in. I passed the exams. I did get in, but I didn't get the scholarship extension.
Mm.
And there's no way it could pay out of pocket. Impossible. Like I wouldn't be able to. But because I focused solely on that, I didn't do the shushoku like looking for jobs with everybody else, which they start in the middle of the third year. So but at the same time, I had applied for this. It's a Bible school in America. I'm Christian, and it's like you can study theology and all that. It's a school that my family knew in upstate New York, and I had gotten in, but it was sort of like a safety plan. I don't know if you can hear. My dog is complaining. Um, and I graduated and I didn't have a job. I was going to graduate and I hadn't really looked for a job because I just wanted to go for master's. And I did all of the summers that I was there. I was doing this summer camp thing. Like I would work on a summer camp that was like a Tokyo school district thing, and it's they put together foreigners with like seventh graders, and you do like a camping for 3 days. It's an English summer camp, and I had worked my way up every summer to this thing. And when I was about to graduate, they needed somebody to help run. So I applied for a short term work visa, and I worked with them while I was preparing for to move to America in August. When I graduated in March, and I worked with them for a few months, and I went to America in August. It wasn't my first choice. I really wanted to stay. I did try to apply for other jobs, but like it's not a that April is the time where like life restarts in Japan. That's when like you graduate in March, so like if you start new companies, it's in April, and usually they're not hiring around that time. So I don't know if it was necessarily poor planning on my part. Maybe I should have at the same time as studying for my master's entry exam, I should have been doing shushokatsu, looking for jobs. But like I graduated and I had to leave and I went to America. I was supposed to stay there for 1 year, but then this was 2019 and then COVID happened in March. Their academic year in America starts in August and goes until May. And COVID in March 2020, and I couldn't go anywhere. My parents couldn't take me back in here yet because they were in a transition time as well. And I was on a scholarship there as well, and they extended my scholarship. And long story short, I ended up staying there 5 years. Um, More out of like, let me finish what I started. So I ended up with a second bachelor's degree, this time in theology, which wasn't the plan originally. The story of all the time that I was in the United States was a whole other story. It was some good experiences, a lot of not good ones. COVID contributed to that.
Yeah.
So my original plan, what I wanted to was continue master's there and perhaps doctorate with the, extend scholarship and then work at a university. That's what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, life didn't turn out that way.
Sometimes
So,
happens.
yeah,
So, but you say about the MEXT Scholarship was like the best 4 years of your life. You enjoy it a
best
lot.
5 years. Hmm.
So I think at least for people who's listening to this, watching this, I think they wanted to know that, right? Like how,
Look,
like is
they won't regret it. That's all I have to say. Won't regret. I mean, if you make
yeah,
the most of it, if you throw yourself to the experience, which I did, like just because I already knew how the Japanese society worked doesn't mean I wasn't going to take advantage of all that is available for a foreign student. There's a lot of programs, a lot of experiences. I did a homestay the first year, like when we in Osaka, we went to Himeji, and the state next. I stayed 1 week with a homestay family there, and I I think every semester I was involved in some sort of extracurricular activities. I worked. I did outside work, arubaito, throughout the years that I was there, so I could have more money to do things. And I did
what kind of arubaito midtime? This part-time job.
the main one I did. I worked it for Costco. There was a Costco wholesale where I was, and I worked there all the years that I was there. It was great. It's interesting to say that I think it was one of my favorite jobs in my life. I was just a cashier. I was just a cashier. I guess I just worked with great
Oh,
people.
but being a
And
Japanese, like a cashier in Japan, must be quite stressful. I mean, you need it all the time, like.
yeah, I can say the exact tones that they use. The welcome to the store. The irashaimase. Like you have to like irashaimase. Dozoご利用くださいませ. Like you have to say exactly like that. That
You have
part is
it.
yeah. But I was paid well, so together with the stipend every month for the scholarship, like that paid for my bills and what I earned from, and then I also did uh like the summer jobs extra. Like you just needed to make sure you stayed within the law, right? During the semester, up to 27 hours a week. During holidays, up to 40 hours a week. So I took advantage of that. I did translation work at home. I worked for 2 years. I worked for the Tsukuba City Hall, translating their. They had bi monthly newsletters for their citizens, and I translated those to Portuguese. I also went to schools like elementary schools talking about culture. Anything I could get my hands on, I did. I said, you know what, I'm here. So I did all of the experiences that I could. Uh, the last semester that I was there, like I was about to graduate a month before graduation. They had this program for foreigners to visit Hiroshima, like a 2 night, 3 days kind of thing. I knew Hiroshima, like I grew up there. Everything they were gonna do, I already did. But I had a group of friends that were gonna travel there at the same time. So I took advantage. I went there and then I stayed for a couple of days more, hanging out with friends in Hiroshima. So you know what? It's hard being away from family. As much as I am Japanese inside, I did miss a lot of Brazilian things. Um, you have to do everything on your own. The bureaucratic part is a nightmare. The Japanese, even though the world of college is a little different because they are very open to different things, still the Japanese have that, prejudice and they don't really understand foreigners that much. So navigating those relationships can be hard. It's all worth it. It was
That's
all
one
worth
reason
it.
to encourage people, like tell people, like even if your major is not in humanities and you don't need Japanese or you need so much, like know so much Japanese, just for life is really important. I mean, it's hard even if you speak perfect Japanese like you. Like imagine like someone who can't speak Japanese at all. So I think it's really important to tell people like even if
Yeah.
you don't need Japanese, go and study some Japanese because will make your life much easier, like much better in general, like making Japanese friends or also navigating Excel, like the the systems, like going to the bank, going to the store, make it easier. So just try to study some Japanese, even if you don't need it. If you have this extra time, go and study. I think it's also some kind of showing that you respect the culture and you respect people.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. You'll do much better if you speak their language. I mean, I don't know if it's like that now. I hear they soften things up just a little bit, but in 2014, the exact sciences people, they had a hard time because they had to learn. It was obligatory. You didn't have to know the language when you arrived, but the whole year was an intensive on learning the language. You had to have conversational level. So it was, an intensive, immersive experience. These two friends that I mentioned, they didn't speak one word, not a hello in Japanese when they arrived. A year later, they were speaking conversational. They got into college and they succeeded.
This was because they studied. They were not humanities. They were for science, right?
Mm-hmm. Sciences, yeah.
You know someone in humanities that got a scholarship with like something worse than maybe M3 level, M4 level? No,
Yeah, there were actually a few the year that I was there. I don't remember everybody's name, but there were some people, because they separated you in levels, right?
Yes.
There were like 6 classes that you do that, like the exam in the beginning, the placement exam. There were some people that could only like read and write hiragana, katakana, like say the basics. I don't have an answer as to how that happened. You mean
these people was for humanities or for science?
Yeah.
For humanities.
Humanities, yeah. Most people did have conversational. Most people. Like, of course, all of the Koreans and the Chinese, they were fluent. But there were a few people in humanities that were just like scratching at Japanese. I think they studied well enough for the exam. But I gotta say, these guys worked hard.
Oh,
They worked hard, and then at the end of the year, they were fluent. So I think they're not too concerned about your level when you arrived. Like, you do have to speak some, but like you don't have to be,
The general recommendation, like we'd suggest, is like for humanities, you need at least like some kind of M3 level. If you don't have like M3 level for the moment, it's really hard. I mean, I think now it's even worse.
Hard.
Maybe during your time was easier. Now the competition is so high that maybe before when M4, M5 was still enough. Now like M3, M2 is like the baseline for humanities, I would say.
Yeah.
But for science, for science you can know nothing. It's fine.
Yeah, the science you don't need to. I think it's also like people need to remember that you said competition. Every year, the percentage is different. Like it depends on how many people in your country are going to apply for those. Because there are limited seating. It's like, I think 120 to 140 people a year. And then they separate that from every country, from the world. And then they separate that, half go to Tokyo and then half to Osaka. I think it's the probability depends on how many people go that year. I will say that, of course, my memory is not perfect. I do remember that I think everybody was at like an N3 level, maybe like a high N4. They did read and write very well. They communicated, like if you threw them in like in a Japanese conversation, they could navigate. And within a few months, they were good. So you do need to know. You do need to know some. 0 for humanities is unacceptable. But I did hear rumors that the competition is getting higher and higher every year. And it's not about just getting in there. Like, you need to survive the first year. The pressure is hard. It's really hard. Like they keep telling you, I don't know if it was the same for you, but they keep telling you the entire year, like, oh, you need to get, good grades on the exam so you're considered for colleges and all of that. And they keep like pounding that into your head. And they're like, if you don't, get in, you're going to have to go home. And I'm like, I don't want to go home. So competition is hard.
Yeah. Normally, I say like competition is high. Once you go, like you have the scholarship, you're actually there in Osaka or in Tokyo in your preparation year. Yeah, I think it's really hard. Like they say, okay, like go back home. You need to be really bad. I mean, if you cooperate and you're willing to do the stuff, maybe you don't go to Kyoto Daigaku or like a really high level high school, but they will not send you home. as far as you cooperate and you're trying and stuff. I mean,
this is true.
I think that's something I want to say to people to don't feel like, okay, this is hell. Because
Yeah.
I think it's not hell. It's hell if you want to go, maybe if you go like to have like the top scores and stuff, then it's up to you. Like it's harder, but if you really want and say, okay, I want to enjoy and I want like only focus on studying all the day, because some people do that. They go and they are all the day studying in the dormitory and they don't stop. It was not my case. And, I think it depends what do you want.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like they told us that. Like they kept telling us, it's like, you know, you have to.
They say that.
There was, however, I do not remember who, because I don't remember I do have the list, actually. I keep all papers. I do have the list of all the people that were in my year. It's here somewhere. I do know that there was 1 or 2 that did get sent home. But these people did nothing. They did not do the work. Like, if you don't do the work, I mean, I don't even
if you don't do the work, of course, no. But if you cooperate and you do the work, even if you are not like this top scorer, like you have really good marks, it doesn't matter. It's you're okay, you are doing right, and teachers will help you say, okay, at least you are paying attention and you are doing the homework and you are trying your best, and that's enough. Okay, it's fine. If you don't do nothing, of course, just go home. I mean.
It's like disrespect to the rest of us. They are working really, really hard. I wanted to go to Todai, to Tokyo University. I tried. I think one thing people don't realize is that you don't get to, technically you don't get to choose where you apply for. At the end of December, you give them a list of 7 colleges you would like, and then they choose one for you to apply out of that list.
In my case, I got my third option. I think it was my third option. My first one was
I think
Totsubashi, second one Kyoto Daigaku, and third one Osaka Daigaku. The third.
Oh, so you stayed in Osaka, okay.
Yeah, I stayed in Osaka.
All those were in my list. I think my first choice was Todai, second Hitotsubashi, because Hitotsubashi has a very good social psychology department. Third was Tsukuba, where I went. I don't remember the rest, but I did have Osaka, Kyoto, and I think I stuck to the Kanto and Kansai area. Maybe I did put Hiroshima Daigaku, I'm not sure. But out of that, they actually, I don't know if it would be interesting. I was going to show, I don't know, did you keep yours, like the document that they give you saying here's where you are going to apply?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
So this is the document. Hang on, I keep all the things. How do I change my
background?
Yeah.
Hang
on. I think here. So this is the document that they give you telling you which college you are going to apply for. This is where you're going to try for. So
that's not sketchy.
Yeah, right? It has like all the I actually kept it in my wall. Like this, it says 2015 January 5th, when the day we came back from Christmas holiday. So it says here, 受験が許可されました. So like you are authorized to apply. And then you do the whole process. Like in my case, I was lucky that it was only paperwork, because there were a few others who applied to the same position, but they gave it to me. And then the official, you got accepted. That's a different one. This one was, oh no, sorry, this is my master's. Never mind. But then they give you the document saying that you
also an interesting thing to say is like some universities, it's like only paperwork and you just go in, and some of them maybe they ask you to go have an interview or maybe even have an exam. So depends.
Yeah, it depends.
I remember. Yeah, I remember one Brazilian guy. He applied for Hokkaido, for the university there in Hokkaido, and
he had to go.
and he had to go from Osaka and say to the interview, and he went to Hokkaido, and I think they reject him. I'm not really sure. I think they reject him. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, he went to Hokkaido. We're going to reject him."
That's
yeah, I was like,
wow.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think they reject him. I remember he went to Hokkaido to the interview. Yeah.
I was told that I was told that I was supposed to. I was gonna have a written exam and an interview. But I don't know what happened. Like they changed their minds and I was just accepted, which was such a relief because at the time I got a cold that didn't I was sick for a few weeks and I was like, I don't want to travel being sick. So I used to get colds a lot at the time. But but there are a lot of people that had to travel in my year as well. I think most of the Todai people had to. Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely sure. But quite a different process for everyone. And we were all like, that's fair. That's not fair. It's not for us to decide. You just go with the flow.
Yeah. And once you get you're going to this university, you can change it. It's important to say. When I got to Osaka University, I felt regret because all my friends were going to Tokyo and Kanto. A lot of my friends were going there, and I was also dating a girl who was also going there. And I was like, okay, yeah, Osaka is good, but I want to be with them, right? And I tried to tell my tutor, can I change? He was like, no.
Yeah, you can't change.
I was like, can I go down? I go with a lower level university, it's fine. And I was like, no. Okay, fine.
Yeah, because it's a specific you have each college has a spot specifically for the kokuritsu kokuhi ryugakusei, us MEXT Scholars. There's so once they give it to you, it's that's it.
Yeah. So think carefully about that. Okay. So what are your last advice, your best advice for applicants? What do you say to them? Now, if you can repeat this process and you are from zero, but you have all the knowledge you have now, what will you do? What will you change?
Number one, all the information you can get about what you need to do when you come home, if you do, collect it. One thing that I'm suffering through right now is Brazil doesn't have they don't accept foreign degree. They don't accept foreign degrees. You have to go through a process of validating it through the Brazilian education system. You can't just come back with your degree and being here it is. So I want to do masters here and I can't because I need to go through a process of getting it validated for them to be yes, this is equivalent to our psychology curriculum, and that thing costs money and it costs time. I don't know how for other countries. I hear there are some countries that have the same problem because, for example, the reason for this, one of them is psychology in Brazil. It's 5 years and you do a residency. It's considered on the medical side. And psychology in Japan, it's not. It's theory. It's just theory. So I have curriculums that it's missing for the Brazilian side. So I'm going to have to gather all of the documents. And for this, I have to contact Tsukuba University, ask them for a list of my professors. I have to translate all of the class names and the addendums, the description of the classes. I have to, and this is official translation. So that's, we call it juramentado, which is, by law, and you have to pay money for that. And once I collect all of that information, I need to hand it into a certain college through the government website. And then they're going to look at it and they're going to say, okay, we accept this, and we're going to the process of analyzing every single class. If they approve that, okay, this is a valid degree, They then will decide, do we accept all of this and you don't need to do any of the classes that are missing? Or then they decide, no, you have to complete a few more classes so we can give you the equivalent of the Brazilian degree. Mm-hmm. To avoid this process, I could have made this whole like document thing. It's called Apostila Diária in Portuguese. There's its own name in different places. You can do it in Japan while you're still there. You go it through the consulate or embassy. And you take all of your, like, you don't need to do any translation or anything because they will do it. And it barely costs any money. And you get a document saying this is valid. And you bring it here and then you just give it to them. And the process is much quicker, less money. I did not know this.
It's good information.
And I'm the person... Oh, yeah. And I'm the kind of person that is always prepared. I'm always searching for information. And I did not know this. I could have just come back with the document. And I just don't understand where it got lost. Like, if they did tell me and I didn't know, which is weird because I kept every single paper they gave me. I'm not blaming anyone. That's not the problem. But what I'm saying is be prepared. Like validate your, like, compare your country to Japan. See if they accept your degree. Because right now, I don't have a degree here. Mm. I would not change this whole thing for the world. I would still do it over again. But that's the thing that is getting me the most. For me to work as a psychologist or anything in the area, I need to have a valid degree. And it's not. So I'm entering the process right now, and it's going to take some time. Yeah.
Okay, so
other than that, don't be afraid. Just go. Just go.
About the match?
Just apply and go.
Okay. So to sum up, is it like check your country, like how it works? Like if you go to maybe you don't. I think some people don't want to come back. They are thinking they will stay in Japan, or I think that's different. But even if you want that, maybe it's good to be sure about this.
Maybe if you're gonna stay,
C, plan D, or maybe it's C there. I don't know, but
you never know. Your family's here. Your family's in your home country. Maybe you need to go back.
Solid advice. Yeah. And what about like the application process? Maybe more about like how like documents or like about this the how to study. You have something to say about that?
Mm-hmm. Go to do courses on, like, search for official courses from the, like, your country that the embassy and the consulate offers for preparation. Do those courses. You could say like, oh, I'm good at math. I'm good at, like, just do it. Like, it never hurts to study a little bit more for the tests.
Like, find the most reliable information you can find, or like, and the most focus on this, because maybe if you go like to random mathematics or English courses, maybe it's too generic. Maybe if you find something which is more, I'm not really sure which countries give this kind of official. I mean, so I know some of them do, and some of them not. I mean, the reason I'm doing this academy here is to give something. I know it's private, so maybe it's not the same, but we are trying to like get all the information together and make like extra exercise and stuff. And because of this, because not every place has this, and even if they have it, maybe it's not as good as it should be, I think. And when you're competing with Korean guys who have like a whole academy all focused on this, I mean, it gets hard. So you need to like you need to counter this in some way. But yes, if your embassy gives these courses, of course, I think it's a really good idea to apply. I mean, it's quite common sense. Like if you want to apply, go and do it. And
also, keep any papers, any emails that they send you. Ask the questions. You're like, oh, but this sounds like a stupid question. There are no stupid questions. You're going to one of the most unique countries in the world.
There are no stupid questions, but there are better ways to ask questions. So this is, I think, it's important to say. Be polite.
That is true.
And research before.
Oh my God, be polite.
Be polite and research, because when people say a question that you can know just by reading 5 minutes, the official documents, the embassy will say, okay, this is weird. This guy is not even reading the documents. That's a stupid question, because not because you are not like right, or it's like something, because you are not making any effort at all to research. And that's kind of like you are like it's like a lack of politeness, I think, because it's like people is
I agree.
Yeah, people is busy. Like everyone has things to do, and if you are just sending emails with something you can research 5 minutes, that's a problem.
What you could do is read through the entire website and any information you can find, and then ask as a confirmation. I read this in the website.
Okay, that's better.
This. I understood this. Am I correct?
Okay.
Am I missing anything? That is actually shows the effort. And because sometimes they word things in a way that you're like, I have no idea what they're saying. Like, ask as a confirmation. They will be more than happy to help.
Yeah, that's much better. But when you say something like it's asking you for questions, it happens to me. Like I'm doing this private.
What's the due date? What's the due date of the what's the last day I can try for the scholarship? Come on, that's on the website.
Yeah, and one reason this is so important is because like this is really competitive, and when you find like people saying this, also like me, I'm kind of doing like some extent it's a business what we are doing here, but I mean I can't lie to people, and when they send me these kind of questions without reading nothing, I feel like this scholarship is not for you. That's what I really feel. I mean, I've tried to give them hope, because I know maybe they were just a situation and maybe they are not like that, or maybe they can, of course people can change and become better, so I don't want to say okay, this is not for you, because it's like who I am to say that, but I can't want to say okay, this is not for you. It's like the feeling is like that. It's like, bro, or you change this, or this is not for you, get out. Like it's too harsh, I think, but I feel like that. That's just to be honest. So yeah, be polite and take some effort, and like you say, if you don't know, just like I read this, I'm not sure, can you confirm it? And this shows at least you are doing some effort. But when you say like these kind of super generic questions from zero knowledge, I think that's unpolite question. More than stupid, is not polite. So you're like
unpolite. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, and what helped me is keep all the papers, keep all the paperworks, keep all the emails. Don't lose any of them. At one point, I'm not saying just to the process. Throughout the time that you are there. Some people don't like to keep papers. That's fine. Japan operates on papers. They operate on papers still to this day. They still print out everything.
System, Japan, if you continue to Japan.
Adapt to the system. Keep all the papers until after you graduate. Every single paper they give you in school, the scholarship papers, the instructions. Like I kept, like they give you a folder when I started Scuba University. Like keep them. At some point, at a totally random time, you're going to be like, I need that information. Don't throw away papers. Throw away maybe after you're done, but that will save you. Honestly, they operate on papers.
Yes. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, thank you, Angie. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, you too.